Now, blessings, everyone. Thank you for joining in the live call or in the replay. I know that the people who are listening later on are also here, partly in spirit. Some multidimensional aspect is joining us. That's usually how it works. I've had reports that people who couldn't make it live then had the activations even before listening. So that's always interesting to see. So I want to welcome you all and thank you for joining today. For the focus of this call is the healing of the divine masculine. We did another group call last week on healing the divine feminine. The replays are available on my YouTube and I posted it as well on my page. So have a look if you haven't seen it yet. It was very powerful for myself and I can also feel my environment had a great effect because the divine feminine within us all is really holding space for the divine masculine within us all to heal now. And very much what this Lionsgate is about is the merging of the divine feminine and masculine within, the divine union within. Because we can't really merge with our higher levels and aspects if we don't merge with these aspects. I mean, the multidimensional aspects are just a reflection of that in a sense. So, what I will talk about today is just a very quick energy update. Not going to go into too much detail because there is just too much going on to cover it all and we want to keep on topic. Then we do a little clearing activation and DNA, multidimensional DNA activation and light body and so forth. And with a special focus on the removal of vows, contracts, agreements, cords, memories, emotions, unresolved past life issues, thought forms. So just to give this another sweep, I've done this previously in another group call, but from my own experience, these clearings we do a few times, so not just once, but throughout our journey, there's always more. It is like any of the density we are dealing with that is removed in layers. And as we move these layers, more of our true soul self can move in because we've created space. So we're going to do a little bit of that because, we can always do with a little bit more of it. Then I want to say a little word on why the healing of the divine feminine masculine within is so important. Because really, like any aspects, it requires full integration. And then I'm going to open up the phone lines and we finish off with the activation of the healing of the divine masculine. So we to clear out any of the distorted masculine patterns and call in the divine masculine essence within. And I always know what we do for ourselves will also have an effect on our families and the broader collective, because it really goes out as we're all, merging into this oneness. It is having a quicker and quicker effect of these codes really transferring over through the collective, which I have noticed, and many others as well. I also want to mention here, Sandra Walter's Unity meditations are every Sunday, and on special occasions like the Lionsgate now, it's going to be on at 8:08 PDT. That's 4:08 UK time, and we're going to do Unity meditation then. We also do them every Sunday. And they're really, really powerful because they give us a lot of DNA activations. It goes out into the collective, but we're really exchanging codes there. And many are reporting interesting activations and visions. And it's really, really powerful. It's a powerful opportunity to co-create and be part of this ascension because we create this. It's not someone doing this for us. We came here as those pillars of light to bring in those higher frequencies, these higher codes, and then we share them with the collective in the different soul groups we are connected with. I'm just going to check on. Yes, Cheryl, very nice energies today. We can feel more and more of the divine feminine coming in and holding space. I have felt a lot more balanced. So even though there's clearing going on, it's fine. We can deal with it. We just keep observing, and we really invited the divine masculine within us to integrate the divine feminine intuition and really going within and observing what is arising from our subconscious at the moment. So it's really a time to go within, because everything that's not aligned is becoming very visible. I've noticed that a lot of relationships are breaking up quite suddenly. Like, I mean, obviously there's always something, you know, that has happened before, otherwise they wouldn't break up. But at the moment, it feels there's this big push that we can all feel collectively in making more aligned choices in our lives. And because it becomes very obvious of what is aligned and what isn't. So before we might have, you know, created these timelines from a distorted viewpoint. And now, as we have, you know, done a few cycles of witnessing what we have created, witnessing our timelines, witnessing what thoughts, emotions, and themes are coming up. And because we've done this a few times, we now know or have learned what is in alignment, what isn't, or what works and what doesn't work for us, what feels good, what doesn't feel good. And the truth is really being revealed on all levels. So it's within and without. And the more we can reveal the truth within us, the more we will have this reflected back at us through our realities. And it always helps. I always say disclosure is also a personal event, in the sense of that as we are disclosing and, you know, really finding our own truth, our own true north, you know, getting to know ourselves properly, past all the programming and templates, then this also will help the disclosure out there, you know. So the more we can stand in truth, the more, again, this will be reflected back to us. So whatever you wish to see out there in the world more of, bring that energy in. That's what I like to say. That's with any kind of exchange we have, but also with events, you know, bigger events that are more collective in nature. So that already is part of the energy update. So I would say the main heading there is keep riding the waves, balance is key. So we've had a huge high around the new moon, or, you know, again, everybody experiences these waves also at different points in the, you know, it's not as if we're all feeling the same way every day. I always say if we all would have an emotional breakdown at the same time, the world would descend into chaos. So some of us are always keeping balance, while others are going through the thick of it. And it doesn't really matter when we do what, it all is in divine timing. So we don't have to push or stress anything. It will, in a way, happen for us. We just have to keep riding the waves, as in stay the observer, see what's arising, stay with it. Don't just break out in reactions, but really see what's beneath, keep digging deeper, see what old timelines are coming up, what triggers, what can we choose differently, how can we make more aligned choices, what does my heart tell me? Because this is really, for me, the merge of the masculine and feminine is very much the heart leads and the mind is its tool, not as in that it's not equal, but it's more of the heart has a greater understanding, is really plugged into our multidimensional awareness and can see beyond the obvious of what is presenting right here, right now in the 3D reality. So your heart knows, and it has a greater intelligence than your mind, and the mind is obviously there to put it practically into action, you know, whatever our heart desires. And I truly believe that when we choose our timelines and make those higher choices, and even though we can't see maybe how something is going to work, that if it's meant to be for us, the universe will conspire on our behalf and will bring these things to us. This is the receiving also of the divine feminine, to be open to receive, not to try and control or manipulate how our dreams may come true. Obviously, we listen to our divine guidance of what action steps we need to take, but it's a receiving of our intuition. And then we put this into action, not from a place of fear or pushing, forcing anything, afraid that we're missing out, or, you know, time-wise, we're not gonna make it. Just flow with what presents, make the highest choices, and keep dropping within and see deeper beneath of what wants to be changed, what is more in alignment, what does feel good. I also spoke about this more in my video on Wednesday. If you want to check that out, that's on my page. Also have that on YouTube if you want to check out my YouTube channel. So this is also cellular cleansing, which we're going through. I saw through the new moon meditations, this huge monadic merge that was happening, and it's really affecting all of us. So higher levels are coming in, our, soul, oversoul, and the monadic level are merging. And this is obviously happening through us having cleared out all the distortions, not all, but most of them. So we're at a really good space. It's just that when we have these expanded levels of consciousness, we then will also go through a clearing afterwards. So it's very normal, and it's part of this experience that we expand and contract, expand and contract. So there's nothing wrong. It's just clearing. Don't panic. Nothing wrong. We haven't done anything wrong. It doesn't get worse. We're just getting deeper. And we have trained a lot. So we've done this, most of us for quite a while. Obviously, we're all at a different stage within our journey. But many of us have we've been in boot camp. We've done this a few times. Now it's like, when I feel good, I feel good. If clearing is coming on, okay, let's do this. I'm not going to say, I'm fine now forever. I've done, I'm done, because we're never done. This is about constant refinement. And diamonds are made under great pressure. So, everything is an initiation. Everything is a test. Just keep seeing, what are you supposed to learn here? Keep seeing it from a higher soul perspective. Keep seeing it from a soul perspective, not from the ego that wants to be right or, wants to push a certain agenda. Just keep looking at it from a higher perspective. And then we also make higher informed choices. So as the monadic merge is really happening for many of us, this then also pushes out all that isn't in resonance with that higher frequency, as I just said. And the Lionsgate is really all about, as I also mentioned, that it's not in alignment, becomes very visible. The whole thing about the divine feminine rising is our unconscious becoming conscious. So we're becoming very aligned in what our soul wants, what our higher self is pushing us to do. It's like it's taking over, and this merging and balancing of the divine feminine and masculine, collapsing of polarities within and then also without, is really what is becoming a reality. Then I just want to say one thing about boundlessness, because that's really what we need to get to. It's the not even expecting something good to happen, although I very much do expect really good things to happen. And this is a time of manifestation and creation from a very conscious point of view. And boundlessness really helps us to celebrate all that arises. We don't know what comes. We can make our highest intentions, but we can't control the outcome. We can't control what's coming. And we trust in God, we trust in Source having our back and that it supports us. And we all keep remembering that we know that ultimately everything is for our highest good. So we celebrate all that arises, and then it becomes playful. Then we don't get so stuck, because that's really the attachment. We don't get so stuck on the outcomes. We need to let go of any outcomes to places, situations, things, and that is really true freedom. Okay, that's all I wanted to say about this. I will move into the first clearing and activation. Let me just check that we're all on quiet. There. Okay. So if you just want to find a comfortable position and just relax, if you want to lie down, sit, whatever it might be, you might even want to stand. And you just take and just put your hands, your palm of your hands facing upwards. And let's take a couple of deep breaths. Just center ourselves. Breathing in love. Breathing out any tension, any stress. Breathing in love. Breathing out any density. And we focus on our heart center, our golden, crystalline, diamond, platinum heart center, sparkling like a diamond, beautiful colors of the rainbow. Our crystalline heart rose, opening up. And we ask to merge with our higher selves, Christ itself, multidimensional self, and mighty I Am Presence. Pure source light consciousness. Now, as we connect from our heart to the sun, central sun, great central sun, and pure source light consciousness. Pulling in the light and love of source in through our heart center and out into our energy field. And from our heart, we connect down through a tube of light, golden diamond light, into the crystalline core of Gaia, Gaia's heart. Sending her our love and appreciation to the kingdoms and elementals. As we breathe that light back up and that love and the keys and codes from Gaia into our heart, to our energy fields. Isunaye, ikuratea ushunayea, ikinataratea, ikinasaratu unasea, inasharatea ki, kuyanakia ki, kianasea ukunayanatea, ishinaya, hakanatu unaye, ikanasura inasaratea, ikinataratu unasaratea, ishinataratea. We imagine a threefold flame of love, power, and wisdom, soft pink flame of divine love, to blue flame of power, and to yellow golden flame of wisdom, igniting in our heart center, growing bigger and bigger and bigger, as it turns into the white flame, love, power, and wisdom, purification, illumination, and ascension. And as this white flame goes bigger and bigger, bigger than our body, out into our energy fields until it's as big as our whole aura, filling out our aura, purifying and divinitizing our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies, all 12 bodies, our spinal cord energies, all 33 vertebrae, purified, divinitized, harmonized. Across all timelines, all dimensions, all realities. Usunaye, Ishura tea iki na tea yi na karatu una sea yi, ikana tea ki. Ku na sea ishu na ye ina karatea I, usunaye. Kutunaye na tea ishinaye. Okura tea isinaye. Kunaya anatea I, ikina sea ki. Ushunaye. And around our energy field, we imagine a beautiful golden, diamond, white, platinum, silver bubble of light, an impenetrable bubble of light all around us. And a beautiful violet diamond flame all around that bubble of light, purifying any energies that are not of the highest purity and love before they can enter our field, back to source, back to love. And we heal any openings, any rips and tears in our aura, fluffing out our aura, being assisted by our divine teams, all those beings of light of the highest frequency of love and purity, galactics, ascended masters, Mother, Father, God, brother and sisterhoods of the light, dragons, unicorns, mer people, lion people, agathans, ancient ones, dragons, fairies, gnomes, elves, sylphs, brownies, leprechauns. All those beings of light we personally acknowledge, and that by assisting us within this activation, clearing, and throughout the whole call. Uyana nasea ishunaye ikinataratea usunaye ikinataratea usunaye inasharatea ki inataratu unasaraye inasaratea ki. Kuyana sea ushuratea yi kuyana nena sarate ikunaye natia isinaye. And we clear, heal, balance, harmonize, upgrade our meridians, nadis, axonal lines, our systems, glands, organs, blood, bones, muscles, sinuses, all and everything, every cell, every atom, every atomic and subatomic particle and wave, and all the spaces in between. Purified and divinitized, any density removed back to source, transmuted back to pure divine love. Uyuna nasea ishina yea kia iana karatu unasaratea ikinatara ushunakea ikinataratea ikinasaratu unakaratea yi ikunasea hinatara una karatea i ukanaya tiat ushanaya nainati inasunaye And we clear, heal, balance, harmonize, upgrade all of our chakras into 12. Purify, divinitize, upgrading each other to the next highest expression. Spinning at the perfect frequency and color in this now moment. Clearing, purifying our Antakarana, our rainbow bridge, to the highest level, allowed for cosmic law. Ushunaye nasia ikina karatea isunaye ikunatea ki ishanatea ki kinataratea I. And we cancel, clear, and release all contracts, vows, agreements, cords, hooks, ties, karmic density, programming, implants, attachments, possessions, miasms, all and everything not in alignment with our original divine true human source blueprint. We release now back to source. In the name of God, I now decree and declare these vows, contracts, oaths, pacts, agreements for me and all of my ancestors null and void in this incarnation and in all incarnation, across all time and space, all parallel realities, alternate universes, alternate realities, alternate universes, all planetary systems, all source systems, all dimensions. I ask for the release of all crystals, devices, implants, thought forms, emotions, matrices, veils, cellular memory, pictures of reality, genetic limitation and death now. As the divine wills, we ask for the awakening to the highest degree that serves our highest soul growth and good. We ask our teams of light for special focus on our ancestral lines, release of old energy, old programming, templates, beliefs, behavioral patterns, any fear programming, blocks, hindrances, conscious and unconscious, all energies of separation from others and source, all judgment of others and the self, all labeling, all lack of forgiveness, all negative thought forms, archetypes, negative ego, feelings of being more or less than any other, guilt, blame, fear, shame, poverty consciousness, enslavement, all and everything not in alignment with our true self, to release now, back to source. Ushanaina kia ikina saratu unasea ishinaina tia ikina tarayu. Usunaye ikanatue ye natia ishinaya. Ukuna yanakana sanatea ye. Ushunaye yakia ki. Kuyanasea ikina taratea. Ukuna yenatia ishina yenatia ikina taratu una sanatea ki. We activate our diamond, crystalline, solar light bodies, rainbow bridge, rainbow body, the bridge in the earth and the bridge in the experience. We activate the triple helix of our multidimensional DNA, activating our multidimensional gifts and abilities to the next highest level. Our extrasensory perception gifts, claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairsentience, all telepathy, telekinesis, all of our gifts activated to our next highest level. Merging, clearing and purifying our multidimensional DNA to the highest level, allowed for cosmic law now. Usuna yena shia ikina taratu unasana yeaki. Hiana sena ushuna yea tanatara. Kuyana nena sia I. Ukana yena kiata. Unasana yena tia ishuna ye. Unastea ki ina karatu unatea I. Activating 12 strands of DNA. 13 strands. 14 strands. 15 strands of DNA. Activate, activate, activate. 144 strands in DNA. Blueprints, activate. Usuna yena ishina karatea ukuratea ikina karatu unasia yi ikanatea kukunataraye. Overriding and overwriting any lesser DNA, any lesser codes, any lesser strands. Calling back to ourselves all that we are, a conscious awareness. Etherically reconnecting our multidimensional DNA. Purified and divinitize. Uyana sia ishana yaki inataratu unasanatea ikinataratu unasana ki. Uyana sia ushuna yaki anataratea ku. Unasanatea inakaratea yu. Ukana yinatea. Usunaye ikana yinatu. Activating our lightship Merkaba. Our diamonds, solar, crystalline light bodies, calling forth the highest levels of light into every cell, into our hearts, into our fields. Uyana sia ishana yina kia kikina taratu yana tarasea ina yana kia ki. Uyana sia ushuna kia yi. Uyana kia kikina taratea ina taratea ki. Usuna yina kia kikina taratea. We now invoke the spiral vortex. In the wisdom of the soul, I invoke the spiral vortex, to cleanse and purify all of our energy systems, our 12 chakras, emotional, mental, spiritual, and etheric energy fields, across all time and space, our spinal cord energy fields. So you can imagine this as a big, wide spiral vortex which starts 30 feet above our head. It connects through the stellar gateway all around our body and goes down to the ground, 50 feet, 30 feet, into the ground, operating clockwise. We can imagine this as like a hoover, removing any density, anything that's going to be released throughout this call, back to source, back for transmutation. Usana shia ukuna tea kikina taratea isinaye kunanasea tiaki. We now anchor these keys and codes received in for our pillar of light, our Antakarana. This pillar of light that goes all around our spinal cord column, connecting heaven and earth, anchoring these pure source light codes into the crystalline core of Gaia, kingdoms, elementals, sharing it with every human heart through the human heart grid, anchoring it into all the grids, sacred sites, ascension gateways, vortices, sacred sites, crystal pyramids, crystal beds, crystals placed by light workers, waters and aquifers. Ushunayena kia isinaya ki inakaratu unasarayi inasharateai ikanayena sunashea karatea usunayena karatea yu unanatea ki yastanayena tia ishina karatea yu unataratea ikinataratea. We now imagine the beautiful soft pink crystalline light filling up our bubble of light all around us with pure divine love, filling every cell and every atom, every atomic and subatomic particle and wave, and all the spaces in between of us across all time and space. Pure divine love filling us up, which will stay with us for the next 2 days, helping us integrate all that is being received and activated, filling us up more and more as more and more is being cleared and removed. That doesn't serve us anymore. All that is no longer in alignment with our true blueprint, our true soul. Ushanaye, ikanayenatia, ushunatia, kikinataratea, unastaratea, ikanatarata, ushuratea, isinayeatia. And once more, we connect to our heart center. And we send down our love, peace and codes to Gaia as she returns this 1,000-fold. Just connecting with her, staying grounded in her love, balanced, harmonized. Usunaya ki ikanataratea ishurata ahanata akaratu uhunatara inakarasea yi. It is done, it is done, it is done. So it is. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's a nice little clearing. Clearing is half of what we do here, clearing out all the distortions, all of that stuff we don't need anymore, making space so that our multidimensional self and aspects can truly integrate. So yeah, this is why this is important. I mean, every day clearing our energetic fields, working with our DNA, it clears so much, it overrides, it's really a shortcut through. I highly recommend it to really daily focus on this. On days when I don't feel good, I just clear, as long as it takes. Of course, we can't always all do this, but we just on those days have to do a little bit more energetic work loads of material out there on YouTube and so forth that can all help us do that. So I highly recommend, because everything goes better. We access higher timelines as we feel better. The higher, a vibration we are in, the better we feel, the better the timelines we are likely to come across. Now, also we have days where we get tested a lot, even though we do feel good in a high vibration. But generally speaking, it will enable you to just access higher realities. Okay, I just do a very quick. So what I will do is just speak quickly about why it is so important for the divine masculine and feminine to be balanced and integrated within. And then I will open up the phone lines, and then I do the healing of the divine masculine activation. So the importance of the divine masculine and divine feminine merge is really all about the balance and harmony we achieve within. And as we achieve this within, we achieve this then also without. It will be reflected back to us through our environment. I have noticed it this week, many shifts and changes. But it also means that then afterwards, we might find, oh, great, it's my reality, my environment is reflecting more balance back to me, but then you might have a day after where it's quite the opposite. It's normal, okay? So there's nothing wrong. It doesn't get worse. It's just the way it is. Like, I've noticed that there was a lot of control today. I found, so a lot of this masculine energy, the distorted energy has been showing up. And it was interesting to observe. We are being asked, our divine feminine within, to hold space for this, to understand it's really just a clearing. We obviously need to, stand our ground as well at times. And if somebody is aggressive towards us or whatever it may be, when it's not okay the way another person treats us, that we, stand our ground, say, no, this is my limit, this is my boundary, and I won't let you push past this, because, I need to keep my field sovereign, and I will not let whatever you're going through affect my life. Obviously, we can be of support to them, but they need to be willing, and maybe need to calm down a little bit first. But again, we don't judge them for it, because that's the thing about the polarities of masculine and feminine within. We can't judge the masculine distortion the way, the same way as we shouldn't judge the feminine distortion. So whether it's the masculine distortion would be standoffish or unemotional, and the feminine distortion would be to be over emotional and be, a little bit, just over the top emotional. So these are the two polarities we're trying to bring balance to, for example, that we are neither one or the other. We are emotionally balanced. We are open-hearted. We communicate from a pure open heart space in authenticity and truth. And that is a balanced emotional state. Of course, we can get triggered and we can feel emotions, but we don't go and affect other people's lives in a negative way through it. So if we feel anger or we feel hurt, we go within and deal with this in ourselves first. Of course, we can also talk to the other people about a situation if something arises. But generally, what I'm trying to say is that we don't have to just act out and affect other people with our emotional turmoil. We can really go within, being sovereign, taking responsibility, and see what needs to be addressed within or with other people. So it's really all about balance of masculine and feminine, us clearing out the distorted energies of both these polarities and collapsing the polarities within, really. And we do this by witnessing, and divine love and neutrality will help us collapse these polarities within and without. So whenever we feel something we are judging or getting triggered by, we need to have to see where we can integrate that aspect more. So whether it's anger and we don't accept anger, or it's not something we would express very often, that we become neutral towards other people being angry, and just accept that it is part of the human condition. Anger is a very natural emotion, and that we don't judge it, because as long as we still judge it, it will keep coming up in our experience. Imbalances are often reflected through others back to us. So whatever we pick up within another person, our environment, as an imbalance, that is something we still have to address. Again, whether it's something we have to integrate further, deeper, or whether it is something that is so foreign to us that we just have to accept that it's part of the human condition, part of the one, part of the infinite fractals of the one, of all, of the human collective, and that we can just be in divine neutrality towards it. We don't have to necessarily understand it, it helps, but to just have compassion towards the people, because like the other, the polar opposite of anger, for example, is depression. So it's anger turned inward. It's just different. We have to look at it from source. We cannot make one thing worse than the other. Sure, it's, you know, less harmful being depressed and being angry with oneself than it is to be angry and punching someone in the face. So yes, sure, you know, there is a discernment there, but on the highest level, it all just is. And we have to keep going back to that place, keep dropping into divine neutrality, non-judgment, divine love for all of creation, every fractal, however distorted. Through that love, we can integrate it, and then we can release it. Whilst we're still judging anything, it will keep coming up in our reality, whether we are projecting that out or someone else back to us. So that's why we always say, you know, others are a mirror reflection of us. And divine inner union leads to outer union. So we cannot really get into a beautiful, balanced, divine union relationship if we haven't achieved this within ourselves. We will keep having distortions come up. I mean, it's obviously fine. We don't need to have perfect relationships from the, you know, word set go, but we are asked to come to divine union and balance within, clearing out all these distortions with everyone else, which everyone else helps us with. So any man, woman, any person in our lives, again, reflects back to us what still needs to be addressed if it triggers us. So we keep integrating all these different aspects to come into divine union within, because then it will come into our space as well. Until we get to that place, it will always be a level of distortion that plays out in relationships that can obviously be cleared, because without someone else showing this to us, reflecting that back, we don't know. You know, we all have a black spot, like, you know, areas that we don't realize we still need to have work on. So others help us with that, and everybody does that. But a true divine union really happens first within, and then you will attract a partner to you that also has done their work and reflects this back to you, and you can then have a balanced and harmonious relationship. But before then, it will always be, you know, some distortion playing out. And again, that's fine. There's no judgment in it. It's just, it is what it is. We came here to resolve this. And we just have to be patient with each other, very understanding, very loving. Again, you know, the divine feminine holds the space. It's divine love, it's compassion, it's nurturing. So, you know, if the divine masculine is acting out a bit, hold that space. Don't judge them for it. Don't judge yourself for it. Just keep observing, keep seeing, okay, where can I make higher line choices? How can I react to this in the highest way possible? And these new relationships that are coming about are here. Some people will have made agreements before incarnation to come together at this point over, you know, the next while, to come together in mission, because they will have agreed to certain missions they come here to do together. And all, and they are very different for each couple, but they all share the underlying mission of creating new blueprints for relationships, because the way that relationships have worked so far have been based on distortion. So generation after generation, we have distorted relationships, we learn from them, pick up these templates, we recreate them in relationships as we go up until we clear it. And, you know, many of us came in here now to clear out all these distortions from the masculine and feminine, or just a, you know, human template. It doesn't even matter, you know, we don't even need to go into duality of masculine and feminine. It's just distortion. So we came here to clear it out, so the next generations don't have to deal with the stuff. But, you know, that's why your own healing is the greatest gift you can give to your children, to your family, to the collective. It has this huge knock-on effect and cannot be underestimated. It's our highest mission of each light worker, each person here on earth, you know. So us doing our daily work really, really is so important, because it changes everything in effect. So the divine masculine and feminine merge results also in Trinity. As sometimes we say, 1 + 1 makes 3, or 1 + 1 makes 1. It's also really, the Trinity is a symbol for birthing the divine child, which we then can do, which is birthing really that joy, the creativity, the wisdom comes in. As we have merged these polarities within, we're birthing the divine child, the threefold flame and triple helix. So it's also very connected to the DNA activations that we're all receiving, and light body activations, and the multidimensional DNA. So it's all interconnected in our original true divine human blueprint. So I will open up the lines. If somebody wants to ask a question or would like to make a contribution, a comment, you can either raise a hand or type it in the message box, or unmute yourself, or just type a question or comment in the message box if you don't want to talk. So obviously we don't have to, but if somebody wants to, the time is now.
Hi, Ramona, everybody. I just wanted to thank you, Ramona, for yet another amazingly powerful, profound session, and let you know, and everyone on the call, that everything that you have been guiding us through has come to, in my estimation, has come to fruition in my life. Everything. And I don't know where I would be without you. So I just wanted to say thank you, because I feel like I'm out here in this, you know, in the swirl, in the big swirl of things, and you ground me, and I really do rely on you. I really do. I'm very in love with you and with your messages. So thank you. I just wanted to say thank you. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for that feedback. It means everything. That's, you know, what I do it for. I try to support as many people as possible, and we came here to do this together. And I'm obviously also trying to make this, it's good to see you. It is obviously also, you know, it's so good to be able to connect. That's why I like the group calls. It brings a little bit of the feeling of community, because we're all in our own little geographic areas, and we don't necessarily have the people around us to have coffee with. So this is a little bit of a have a coffee together session. And I know most of it is just taking in what I'm saying, but we're really much connected on an energetic level. You can imagine closing our eyes and then we're all sitting around the table and, you know, having this experience together. And thank you so much for that feedback, because without you guys, I wouldn't be here and do that. Thank you so much. And everyone for just being here now and doing the work, you know, day after day. And we've often felt we've hit rock bottom. We made it, we will keep making it. And it's so good if we can honestly share from our experiences, and just also say, I'm having a tough day. It's so important. The humility, instead of just pretending everything is airy-fairy, because that's not what Ascension is. It's digging deep in the mud, and, you know, really looking at our shadow aspects and being really honest with ourselves. And we need to have, I think, a lot of humor as well. Like sometimes, you know, I turn around and laugh at myself and, oh my, I was a bit of an asshole there, you know. So we all make mistakes, we all say bad words, or catching myself doing something I previously judged has come around very often. And I will then laugh at myself catching myself doing that, because it's just, yeah, okay, just needed to integrate that. So just not taking it too seriously or personal, because in the end we all came in here to clear certain aspects. It's just everybody came in with different pieces, so there is really no better or worse. It's all just different, and that's the thing, to have that compassion and see the equality in all of it. Even the baddies, you know, they're the greatest teachers, and they came in here. It's in a way also a sacrifice from a soul level. Those people who've chosen really, really dark experiences, they made that decision to come here to learn through this experience in a really, you know, dense, heavy way. So, and I know all about density because I can feel the heaviness and density of the whole planetary body. And I think many of us who are empaths, we very much are plugged into what happens. So we can just sit at home and certain ways are coming over us. I have it that I don't need to have a certain life experience. It's just like energetic. And we just have to work through it because we're doing it for the collective as well.
Ramona, can I add something real quick? Just, I don't want to take up too much time,
Of
but
course.
I want to say that this is, give you an example of how this is magnified through you and then to me and to the collective. I have a very dear friend who is the survivor of satanic ritual abuse since she was a child. And we've been friends for over 10 years, and we've been walking this journey together. And I know she's a light worker, and through the healing that comes through your and other channeling and, you know, light work and talking and conferencing and support, she's writing the book. She's writing a book about it. And I feel like it's her life's work, and she's 78 years old, and she's finally coming to the point where she's healing because she's now sharing. It is the most amazing, amazing story. So, you know, with everything that's happening now with the, you know, the Matrix and this new Ascension and the darkness having no place to hide anymore, it's a perfect time for her book to come out, because she's like, hey, I survived this and worse, if you can imagine, and I'm still here and I'm writing a book about it, you know, and she's well and healthy. So I just wanted to let you know how the ripple effect, how it's reaching out into the collective.
Oh yes, it's everything we do has an effect on everything, the interconnectedness of it all. And I also have a dear friend who I work with a lot energetically, and she also has been through the same thing. And we've been clearing a lot of these family lines and contracts, and on a really big level. So it's a really sticky subject. And obviously this is what's coming out now in the collective as well with the whole Epstein case. And it's being cleared. I feel, you know, also the masculine has had sexual abuse, and it's very, very, very difficult for them to come to terms with that and to access that. Often people don't even have memories because they pushed it down so far, and then they might come up. But this is what can happen now. You know, it can be overwhelming for the masculine, especially within us all, to, you know, they're integrating their emotional body and they're really accessing because the unconscious is coming up. So all that stuff we have pushed down is coming up, and it can be overwhelming. And a lot of masculines are having tower moments right now. And I've noticed, you know, obviously that the opening up to the healing is very difficult for them, just opening up to the emotions, because they haven't really learned that. And dealing with sexual abuse for men is very difficult because there's an extra layer of shame over there, because it's the whole gay thing that comes in then, and all sorts of things. And it's just not, because we are a little bit more as women in tune with accessing our emotions and dealing with that stuff, and men have just learned to push it down. Now, this is very generally speaking, but most men have more masculine energies. All of us have chosen one energetic that is stronger than the other. That's just how we came in here. That's why we're male and female and incarnation and not androgynous. But we obviously bring this into balance as much as we can, but one energetic will be stronger. So, you know, that's why we're representing one of those energies primarily. But yes, the masculine is at the moment going through some crisis points, or tower moments, as some would say, where it's just overwhelming. They have to deal with it and access those wounds and traumas. We're all at different places, but, you know, the divine feminine is here to hold that space and to say to them, it's okay. Just, more love is always the answer, and we can't push anything down anymore, because that's the problem. The imbalance, the unstableness of the masculine is when we try to suppress and push it down and not let it come up. Then we're going to get to the imbalance of, comes out in a big explosion. And that's the unstableness and the emotional way. And then often men would, again, but we have to also take the genders into this, because the way of explaining it, it's symbolic really on it's the external representation of the masculine feminine energies are the genders. So they, might then have the imbalance come up, and then they act in anger, aggression, or depression. But it's this, or resort to drugs. So you have this a lot within the masculine energy and collective. And this is all coming down now. So they really have to access their emotions, deal with it, balance them, love themselves, and they haven't learned that. So, we are here as the feminine. That's why I did the feminine healing first. And I was guided to do the masculine so quickly after, because usually I don't do them, 1 week after another, just because of the time we're in, and because the Lionsgate is so much connected with the masculine and feminine merge within. So everything we do really helps. And also, 8 is this whole infinity sign, but it's also masculine and feminine. Like I work with that energy quite a lot. So bringing this all into balance. And yeah, it's so beautiful when you see people are writing about their experiences, because I always find it really helps. That's why I talk a lot about my own experiences. First of all, it's approachable. You understand, like that person understands where, you or other people are coming from, because I'm talking from experience, but also because it's important to not just pretend everything is perfect, and have that humility to, share. And I like to be that example of being truthful and honest and just authentic and sharing, those darker places with others, because it has always helped me listening to other people's stories. So that's why I often do this. And stories are just there to explain something. It's not that we keep holding on to them and keep repeating it's trauma. No, it's just neutral at some point. But you can help people with it. So yeah, books and telling stories and sharing these experiences help so many others that had these experiences, because they can then access their own trauma through it. It's like a trigger. Yeah. I don't know. Tonya, do you want to say something? I can try and unmute you. You're unmuted.
Okay, thanks. I was going to say, don't look. I've been purging for days, haven't even showered. But I was going to ask you about integration, but I think you just explained it to me. I don't guess I've ever really understood. I feel like I do that naturally, though. You know what happened the other day. I already told you, but I feel like, my higher self comes in and does that, takes over. Because I can tell like the next day that it wasn't me. You know what I mean? And then it kind of naturally integrates. But what you just said is you're saying by us not judging, by dropping back into neutrality and accepting it, that's how we integrate. Is that correct?
It's definitely part of it. I mean, obviously, sometimes we have to make adjustments. So if it's, for example, something, is not aligned, then we make an adjustment and say, okay, next time I will react differently. Or, let's say somebody triggers you and it gets you into a spiral, and then you become angry, and then, you're going into, a kind of negative thought pattern, and worse things happen, and you start moaning about all sorts of things. So what we want to do next time is, as you said, just take a step back, see, okay, why am I getting angry here? What is beneath that emotion? What thought patterns are running here that make me feel angry? Is it because someone else did not apologize to me, for example? Why do I feel, hard done by, or why do I feel they owe me an apology? Is there something within me where I can just love myself a little bit more? Or where can I next time just tell them, hey, this is not okay. So it really depends on the situation, what it is. But if it's something that's not working and that keeps repeating, then something has to be changed. Because if we keep doing the same things over and over again, and we can't expect a different result. So very often we do need adjustments. So instead of maybe acting out next time on my anger, I'm just gonna remove myself from the situation, go for a little walk, or take 2 minutes, get that anger out in a different way, stomp my feet, have a little scream, whatever it may be, and then I can come back to myself and dig a little bit deeper of what was really triggered here, because it's something else. And anger is a really good example to say, I need change. There's room for transmutation. There's room for doing things differently, because it will always, it's a great catalyst for change. When we get angry, we have enough.
That's how we integrate?
Yes, it depends on the situation. Sometimes it's just, for example, if someone else keeps triggering you by, an example, by talking to you in not a nice way, okay? So you obviously can say, here, it's not okay to speak to me like this, but sometimes you also need to realize, if you're not being triggered, like if you are being triggered in that moment, you have to change something.
Okay? Right, I understand that, yeah.
Yeah, but if that other person is like this and you're not being triggered, you're just being neutral. You just give them the space of knowing they're having a hard day, they're going through whatever, and sometimes you don't even need to say anything. Because by us actually saying, hey, why are you behaving like this? It also depends on the energy we're coming from. If we're coming from the energy of being annoyed and being triggered and getting like, why are you talking to me like this? It's like, we just have to resolve something more. And it really helps us on a cellular level to clear that. But if we're not getting triggered and it's just the other person having, whatever for an experience, we just hold space and we are seeing them from the perspective of source, seeing the divinity within them, and just allowing them the space to go through whatever they need to go through. Because, we are not perfect. They're not perfect. We all have a bad day. We all sometimes act from distortion. We shouldn't expect everybody to be perfect all the time. It's unrealistic. So it takes as long as it takes until we don't get triggered anymore. So it depends. If something gets triggered for you, something there is to change and to integrate. If it's not triggering you, if it's coming from someone else, just love it. Just be in neutrality. Of course, also when you're doing something wrong, you want to make an adjustment, but you still remain in neutrality. You don't judge yourself for it. You don't keep beating yourself up for it. You don't think there's something wrong with you, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So it's really to see what's underneath the emotions, because it's a thought pattern and a belief running underneath the emotions. The emotions are just telling us, there's something here, if they're not good. That's the, it shows us where we still need work on when something doesn't make us feel good. But we can't change other people. We just can change our own, behavior to situations and the way we see things. And often through a change of perspective, we can change the whole dynamic around a situation. So for example, if somebody pushes a button and I get into whatever emotional state, I can see it's a clearing that they're helping me to trigger. So I get into great gratitude towards them, especially people who are not nice to me. I just go, thank you for teaching me, X, Y, Z. Because that's always the case. We need other people to show these things to us, to trigger us. And we trigger other people as well. And the biggest assholes in our lives are usually the biggest teachers. And we made these arrangements. We've made this arrangement, these big soul contracts, the karmic stuff, we came in here, we prearranged it through contracts and agreements to come together and learn these experiences. So each party learns through the experience. That's why it's important to keep checking on, am I coming from a highest level of integrity? Do I come from love? Do I come from compassion? Again, we need to also see, when I'm being, firm, when I'm being compassionate, we can still come from love and be firm. Like a mother telling off their child, but without getting angry and upset. We are just, telling them, no, this is not okay to do this. but we don't say, no, that's not okay to do this. You know what I mean? There's a difference in the energy we're coming from. We need to be firm. Like I always like to use that mama lion thing, symbology of Tocqueen, that, you know, protective mama lion who protects her children, or, you know, her boundaries, but it's also so loving and nurturing. We can integrate that all, and that's the integration of all these different aspects. So we then come into balance within these different aspects, when to bring which aspect in, you know, when to be, when to just be and allow and surrender. That's the feminine. When to act and create and make things happen. That's the masculine. It's all, you know, there's a time for everything. And once we integrate all these different aspects and bring them into harmonic balance, then we know, and, you know, it's like source taking over, as you see, because that's what's happening now. Source is taking over. Our ego is being left on the wayside almost automatically.
I can tell.
Sorry?
My soul's taken over a few times. I can tell when it happens. I can feel it. It's obvious. It's almost like, you know, like, step aside. I'm going to take over here because you can't, you obviously aren't, you know, that strong. And she just steps up and does it.
Yeah.
I can feel, I can tell. I can always tell. And sometimes it's like a day or two later, but I always know. I always know that that's what it was. That it was meant to be, that's exactly how it was supposed to play out. So,
yeah.
I mean, all I do, I just accept it and just, you know.
Yeah. It's a fine line to feel our feelings, not suppress, and keep dropping back into the heart and divine neutrality. You know, and that's really the balancing act, which is the tricky part of, like, feeling it, having it come up and out, looking at whatever is arising, what needs attention, what needs adjustment, but we keep loving it, whether it's our own behavior, other people's behaviors, you know, because we just know it's just trying to show us something. It's really here to help us.
Right.
And then we have not this whole inner turmoil anymore. We can just, okay, let me step back, let me observe this from a more neutral perspective and see what's behind this. This is not personal, even though it feels personal. There's a reason for this happening. Especially the most difficult of life experiences are always the biggest catalysts and biggest growth potentials they offer to us. It's not through easy, nice experiences that we learn. I mean, we do, it's going to become available now, or it is available. So there will be more joy, more peace, more ever. But we first have to clear out all these distortions, or to the biggest part, you know, to a very big extent, to have it easier. And really, in the end, the ease and the grace comes through experience, through having done this numerous times. It's like anything we learn, you know, we learn through experience. We do it again and again and again. Like when we learn writing or maths or whatever it is, we don't just do it once. No, we keep practicing it, and then it becomes automatic, like driving a car. You know, it becomes part of our blueprint and just natural behavior. And that's actually what we're doing as light workers also. We're creating these new blueprints, and this goes out into the field. You know, these new levels of peace, of love, of bliss, of balance, of harmony. It's all being projected out into the collective, and they will take on these new templates as if automatically, because it's like we're all connected, and we are just the ones who are forerunners, who kind of do the heavy lifting, figure out how to navigate through it, but then it becomes a blueprint and available in the collective field. And this is how we're really changing, you know, so we don't need to worry about how other people will be more at peace and more loving and more, you know, more aligned in unity. We just have to bring this in, and then it will be reflected back to us from our reality. So yeah, I mean, those, you know, things that are really worthwhile, they are not easy to get. We have to really, you know, many successful people in life have tried again and again and again. That's what I'm keep being reminded of. So it's perseverance is a huge piece of the ascension process. We keep going, we keep trying, you know, it's keep trying, trial and error, but don't judge yourself for the errors, because that just keeps you stuck in a negative place. You keep trying, you know, again and again. I mean, how often did I get something wrong? And still, we all have the same kind of soul themes that keep coming up, and they will keep coming up until we have mastered them. That's just, it's just this. It's not easy. Nobody said it would be. We were warned, and we said, I'm going to come anyway.
Apparently, that's what happened.
Yeah. I had a funny, I had a good meditation last night. I do a lot of energy work and meditation, and it was like, I could see just like sort of the light work. I saw, you know, many of us rounding up, and it was like, was just shouting out, will we be held back by 3D illusion? Will we be held back by 3D illusion? And then we were just like, no, we won't. No, we won't. You know, it's like we really have to now, because we've been beaten back so often, you know, throughout all of our lives, consciously or unconsciously. And it's hard sometimes to keep believing, to keep pushing, to keep trying, because it's very exhausting. But perseverance is the key. And we will be, and are, and have already been victorious. It's just about tuning into those highest timelines now. Keep making the highest choices. Keep being the observer. Keep being that love, being that compassion, being that forgiveness. That's how we bring this in to the whole collective. We are the change we want to see in the world. This is how we change the world, not by trying to manipulate or force or control something outside of us. I've tried it. I moved around a lot, you know, different partnerships, different jobs. It never makes a change if you keep bringing yourself with you. That's why this inner work is so important. And that's why on this journey, we go into this cave mode of just battling down the head, just doing all this inner work, because that's what needs to be done. That's how our reality will eventually change. It does, because it is reflected from inside of us. It's being projected. This is a holographic quantum projection we live in. We need to keep remembering not to disassociate, because it's a tricky thing, you know, like being neutral doesn't mean disassociation. We take responsibility for our actions, how we affect others. You know, we don't want to cause any harm. We need to come from our highest moral, ethically virtuous selves, okay, of, again, being that person how we wish everybody else to be. You know, we need to treat other people the way we want to be treated. We have to do it first. We can't keep pointing the finger. We have to, you know, pointing one finger is having other 3 or 4 pointing back at you, as we always say. And there's nothing more true than that. And I have seen in my relationships, the more I work on myself, they change automatically. I've tried to change other people. It does not work. It's like ramming your head against the wall. Of course, you can seed, you know, you can plant seeds and you share your experiences. And if somebody isn't nice or whatever, you give them that feedback. You know, you're not a carpet, what is the expression? But you know what I mean. You're not getting trampled on. You're not being taken advantage of, because that's another problem with many of us having been so empathic, also being naive on some levels of thinking everybody wants our best. No, discernment is huge. Being our own shepherds, and that's the feminine. Keep listening to our own intuition, our own wisdom, our own connection to source, not having anyone else tell us what is right and wrong, what to believe in, what not to believe in, what to eat, what not to eat. You know, it's like, no, it's about the purity of heart, connecting with our own inner source, keep connecting to the divine feminine within, because the divine feminine births the creation and the divine masculine, not from a place of fear or pushing or trying, you know, but from this beautiful place of just this pure creative space. And it then comes from joy and excitement and, you know, love for what we're doing, and not from, I have to do this because I need money, or I have to do this because people are expecting this of me. No, no, no. Own guidance. Don't listen to anyone else. And that's why we're going through these cave processes. We don't need all this noise. We need a lot of me time. We need a lot of going within. Not anymore the distractions of the usual, what we used to do, TV and drugs and anything else. You know, there's so many ways of addiction, doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a sex addiction, a addiction to TV, addiction to coffee, addiction to alcohol. You know, we all have different ways of dealing with it. That's another way of suppressing our addictions, you know, that keep us busy. We need to, the divine feminine sits with it. She doesn't distract herself of going out and keeping herself busy with work, which a lot of men do, the masculine. distract themselves with work, with drugs, with TV, with other else desires and stimuli. And again, we all do this, you know, to one extent or another, whether it's our phone or Facebook or whatever it is. No, put it on aside. Spend daily time with yourself because it's so important, and it just will give you a lot of clarity, your own clarity. This will show you where you are aligned and where you're not aligned in the deep inner still communion. And this is the time, the Lionsgate, to really feel out what is aligned, to bring in the clarity and to unify this all within. And just a lot of that stuff, yeah, we just have to let go and observe, and then it will just go, because as long as we have judgment towards something, it will keep coming up. So sometimes it's just the observance, just divine neutrality, and it collapses lower timelines and experiences. So you know what's happening out there, the less people can have judgment towards other people that, you know, do satanic rituals or abuse children, the better. Because they, you know, a healed person doesn't do this. They need our love more than anyone else. They have been fractured on a very deep soul level. So that's what we're here to bring in, to look at everyone from the eyes of source and see the divinity within them, although they cannot see the divinity within themselves anymore. And love them, although they've forgotten what love is. True divine love is unconditional. That's the love of the Divine Mother. That's the love of the Divine Feminine. And this is what enables the Divine Masculine to heal. This is big stuff, people. It really is. You know, and it's not complicated. It just, we need to just keep being with it and being the observer and keep dropping into our hearts, you know. I mean, we feel the things, we get angry, and then, no, okay. You know, day, it's not personal. Day are not very healed, you know. You know what I mean? So we keep feeling it, but then keep dropping back and just keep going through that cycle until it has all cleared at the cellular level. That's how I deal with it, you know. I get triggered, I feel my feelings, but I don't stay with it. I don't believe them as in, yes, this person is an asshole, or, you know, they're a terrible human being. No, I keep seeing it from my own perspective, and I allow my feelings, but then I keep looking at it from another perspective. So these two voices, at least in our head, is really helpful. And, you know, have a different perspective, keep checking on yourself, because this is a constant being very conscious of what's playing out in your mind. Because before, I used to be very unconscious. I got myself into burnout from my old job. But because I had all these thought patterns running, they were driving me to such an unhealthy state of stress and anxiety, to then be taken out of it. And that's what happened to many of us on this journey. We get illnesses, or we lose our job or family or house or whatever it may be. That all happens to guide us to where our soul wants us to go, to take those steps back, to go within, to not keep just being busy with the game of, I have to provide, I have to pay my bills. You know, it will always somehow work out. It might not be comfortable whilst we go through it. We might need to make some sacrifices, but this inner work is worth so much more than a nice car or a big house. People would pay a lot of money for, you know, being at peace and in love with yourself. You cannot buy this stuff. You cannot buy this stuff. That's what we're doing. And it takes a long time. You know, it's not just done like this. No, it takes daily inner vocation, daily inner work, because we've had so much conditioning and programming and whatever else throughout eons, and even in this lifetime. It takes a while to unravel, of course. It's like we have to re-brainwash ourselves. And there's no manual, so we have to figure this out. There are many different beliefs and ways to go about it. But, you know, we have to figure it out all ourselves. And it's also, I like that. I don't like other people telling me what to do, and you will find most people don't.
Definitely not easy.
No, definitely not easy. Nobody said it would. And it does bring us to our knees many times. I did make a joke towards the end of the last call, you know, thank you for not killing yourself or others. And I know at least one person said back, thank you so much, you really made me laugh. But it's it's a very honest thing to say, as in that cuts down to the truth. many times I felt suicidal. But even before I came onto this journey, some of us just have these problems. You know, other people feel more homicidal. I guess it's the other way around. So, you know, and yeah, we learn impulse control, but it's very deep to the truth. You know, this journey and this life in general can really push us to the limit, and many times over. But it's also, we keep dying upon our old selves. So, you know, there's not just one death, there's many deaths throughout this journey of your old self and your egos and all your personalities that we let go of. Because in the end, it's just us being the channel for source, our higher selves, to work through us whilst we sorted out, you know, all that stuff that is not our true self. And then the guidance comes in of what to do, you know, and what our mission is here. It will come in, because it's just, you have to go through the purification process in order to really access your abilities and gifts and gain that power back that we once had of being those really, you know, powerful creators again. But we need to really reach that balance and purity, because otherwise we will abuse that power and use it for self-destruction or the destruction of the planet, which we have seen in other timelines. And, you know, this is that option is taken away from us. Sure, we can dabble in dark magic and so forth, but that only gets you so far. Like true organic Ascension magic, our true abilities and gifts, they are much more powerful than that, and they will surpass what Jesus and other people have done before us, as they have promised us. I do believe, you know, we came here to do much the same and much bigger things than we have heard of. And that's the access to our multidimensional DNA and clearing out all these distorted codes within our DNA, because it's in our DNA. You know, that's why that's the shortcut. It's distorted DNA templates and codings, and that's why it's really good to work with your DNA. And again, there are many ways to go about it: healings, DNA work, you know, entity clear, and so forth. So many levels you can work at. Okay. Sandra writes, first, thank you for your presence. You have recently come into my awareness, and all that you share resonates with me. As one that works with awakening others, I have been finding that the more I want to dedicate to this work, the more difficulties I have financially. Any words about this and how to shift it ASAP? Yes, very good. Shifting it ASAP, I think it's also part of this journey a little bit, as in many of us will overcome this. It's a lot around the clearing of these financial programs and templates. It's just the clearing out of the root chakra as well, and it really brings us within, because we learn that all we really need to have is within us. So there, you know, it's many different things. You will clear out old vows, the poverty vows, contracts. You might have been, you know, in past lifetimes part of religious order where they, you know, you didn't earn money, or you have old belief systems around money that needs clearing out during this process. You know, such as having money is not good, or it's, you know, or people with a lot of money are not good people, or it's not safe to have money. There's so many different templates and belief systems around money, because that's the one thing that really keeps us all enslaved. Money has been used on this planet a lot for distortion. So we are clearing all of these templates. There's a huge clearing ongoing in regards to this lately, especially the last 3 months. I've noticed, and I really feel we are now collectively getting to a point where a lot of more abundance will be available to us, just because we cleared out the interference. I was shown that a lot of this is down due to the density. We can call it planetary miasms, you know, entities, you can call it anything, lower astral forces, but in the end it's density in the collective field, in our fields, that has to be really cleared out, and any healing around root chakra issues to be done, you know, which we can use different modalities for. But generally, you know, the bliss codes, the freedom codes that are coming online is the abundance. Freedom equals abundance, that we're not limited anymore. And this is really what's coming in strong now, and that's what we are unlocking. I've been going in to this in DNA work and just really activate, just talk out loud to your DNA, activate my abundance codes within my DNA. We can use affirmations, to call in more abundance. It's a mixture of things. It's never just one answer. So, but it's a very common challenge, very common. And we sacrifice a lot. The thing is, in a normal world, we have sacrificed a lot of our soul for money. We do jobs that crush our soul because we need to earn money. And then at one point we say, no more, we can't do this anymore because it's not in alignment with our soul, with our truth. And then, we need to just keep letting go of any fears connected with money and trust that we will always be provided for. Might not be how it was before. You might need to make sacrifices and not have as much for a while. But it actually brings you so deep within that you're so worthy, because it's a lot to do with self-worth as well, as we clear then throughout clearing all of these issues of feeling safe in the world is so much connected with this. So there's a lot of different puzzle pieces that have to be cleared out in regards to abundance. A lot of this has to do with self-love and worth, and this has also been coming up a lot lately. And again, this is collective, and we clear all these imprints and implant programs collectively as we're doing this for ourselves. And I have, always been shown, if I trust and I believe in miracles and I do what my higher self tells me, I'm always provided for. Again, might not look like the way you think it does, but this is also another thing. We were so used to controlling money and rationing money. This is about one moment to the next, and you believe you will always have enough. If you're being guided to spend the money that you have put away for something else, and you've been guided to invest it in your soul, would that be a course or maybe a crystal that really screams at you, and this might seem to the normal human mind as a waste, or you cannot do this because you need it for something essential. No, trust yourself. If your higher self, your soul is telling you to get that, whatever it is, you will be sure. And if you trust, it needs to come from the right energy. It needs to come from the energy of trust, and that money will be replaced. That's what I have experienced in my life. So there is a lot that clears around this. It takes as long as it takes. So the ASAP, I cannot, I cannot give you a time frame on this one. Just 1 second. Okay. Patricia, sorry, Ramona, I must dash and will try to take you with me while I'm driving, but I'm not sure. Thank you, bless you. Patricia, please do not put yourself in danger. Rule number 1. You can listen to the replay later. Krista, money issue is also a big symptom of the imbalance between wounded masculine and feminine. So now we are asked to confront and heal. This Lionsgate especially, definitely, I got the same message, Krista. It's hugely connected with that. It's if we don't clear some of these distortions, it really always results in a lack of self-love as well, which I'm realizing or seeing. So that self-worth, that self-love is that huge piece to the abundance thing. And obviously we're going for deeper and deeper levels. I think there's always more love possible, and the full acceptance of all of our shadow aspects and realization and transmutation will lead us to the abundance. So the distortion I was shown, which is between us and getting to that abundance, is the distorted aspects of the masculine and feminine. So yeah, as we're healing this and bringing this into balance during this gateway especially, it will all fall into place, because it always does. Money is energetic. Okay, Kat, just calm down. He's a boy as well. He's a bit feisty today. So yeah, totally agree. Wonderful. Thank you everybody for contributing and being here today. Krista, raising vibration to the wombs and embody divine feminine with balanced divine masculine energy creates miracles around money and having enough. I totally believe this. This is what we're working on. This is what is coming through now. I can feel it in myself. I truly believe this is what we have been working on. And this is where we're getting to, because again, also the 8 is abundance. 8, abundance, infinite abundance. it has to come. I mean, I've been working on this for so long, and it has a lot to do with these bliss codes as well. As we are in gratitude, gratitude is such a big piece to this as well. So we can't feel we are entitled to anything, and being grateful for what we already have. Also, if we're constantly focusing on what we want to manifest, that sends out a signal of we don't have it yet. But if we make it from a place of we already have this and are grateful for all the miracles and blessings coming into our life, this can really change the whole dynamic around our manifestations. So I'm just in a space right now where I'm like, whatever will happen, will happen. I always have enough. I don't always know how it comes or where it comes from. It's the surrendering, the control, because, you know, control around money and safety is an illusion anyway, I believe. I mean, many people had a lot of money throughout their life and lost it, and maybe made it again and lost it again. You know, it's nothing is a given. Something can always happen. So there's no real security around money. And we have to let go of all these fears around money, integrate all these aspects, and we call forth these miracles from this overflowing cup of this fullness, of the balance of the masculine and feminine within, and then it comes back to us. It's also the balance of receiving and giving, isn't it? Like I've noticed, and I mentioned this in the last call, the whole back of the heart has been showing up for me a lot, which is connected to betrayal as well, but it's also receiving. That's where we receive. So through the betrayal, in this and other lifetimes, we've closed this up. So we've closed ourselves up to receiving love and also receiving the abundance the universe has for us. So we needed to clear this, the whole heart energy, this balance, you know, within and self-love, to open ourselves up, to feel safe in receiving love, to be safe in receiving abundance, and that not bad things come out of it. So that has been clearing a lot, I've noticed, especially over the last week. Thank you for that. Cheryl, I have been working on changing my perception that whenever I spend money, I'm paying myself, not someone, something outside of me. We are all one. Yeah, totally. And it always somehow comes back to us, but we need to give it from trust and not from, I don't have enough. So if I give someone money, for example, and I feel it comes from a space of I'm afraid I don't have enough, you know, it might show up in reality is not enough because it's a belief system. If I give it from, oh, I know it will come back to me because I'm just being guided to give that money right now, it will come back to us. It's an energetic flow of the give and the take, the balance of the masculine and feminine. And I've noticed in my own life, I not always, but I tend to overgive. That masculine is actually within me quite strong, where the feminine is receptive. And again, that's what we're really anchoring in here, the receiving instead of the overgiving, because actually there's a distortion also within the mother template, the constant overgiving, making sure everybody else is fine and provided for and you come last. You have to fill your own cup up first, otherwise you will operate on resentment and, you know, not giving yourself enough. You run yourself down. It's not really serving anyone, giving from a place of resentment, not having enough. When we fill ourselves up on a daily level, because that's what's required, we give from that overflowing cup, and it comes from joy and abundance and, you know, being truly generous, and not from, oh, I don't have enough, but I'm still giving you because I feel like I have to, and all of this. So really the feminine had to go deep within and just fill herself up and take that time for yourself and nurture yourself. And especially with these huge upgrades taking place, we need so much self-love and taking care of our bodies and mental state, emotional state. We need a lot of alone time, and that's not selfish. You know, that's one of those things we need to break through and release. It's not selfish putting yourself first. It doesn't mean that you're egotistical and don't care about what happens to other people. Of course, you're still gonna make dinner for your kids, but it might just be, you know, a baked potato that day if you're not feeling very good. That's fine. You don't have to beat yourself up or always, you know, think you're not doing enough and not giving enough and not good enough, which is very, very deep within the feminine, for example. The masculine actually expresses this differently as through arrogance. So the feminine distortion is, I'm not enough, you know, you feel smaller than another person. The masculine feels more than that day. It's an you know, the arrogance or a inflated ego, but in the end, it's from the same energy of not feeling enough. It's just that it's their protective mechanism, but it comes from not enough. If I have a really balanced and healthy self-love and respect and connection to myself, I don't feel more than anyone else. I see everyone and know everyone as totally equal, that we're all just different. So it's the same thing. It's just, not one thing is better than the other. So we don't need to be angry with the masculine for feeling all arrogant and think they have it all figured out and we don't know anything. And we just and we know that we know what we know. We don't need to push that onto other people and, hey, I've got it all figured out. You don't know anything again, or coming from that place of, I don't know enough, I am not enough. Again, we will come to that balance of just resting in our inner knowing, in our inner self-love, in our inner peace, and bring that balance in of those two polarities of feeling more than or less than any other. No, we're equal to everyone. That's what we're bringing in, the equality between the masculine and feminine again. No one more or less. We need both in balance. It's just that the feminine leads and it holds the space for the creation. It's not better than the creator. That's the masculine. Yeah. Okay. Now, unless there are any other questions or comments, we can move into the divine masculine activation. Because also I'm really trying to make this calls not as long as the last few. Usually around 2 hours, 2.5 max. That's where everybody reaches their limit. Okay. Oh, there's one. Evelyn, my mother, would like to say something. I'll unmute you, Evelyn. Hello, mother. How are you?
Oh, hi, Ramona. Really, I didn't realize that you wanted to speak to me.
I don't want to speak to you. You raised your hands. Do you want to speak or do
did
you
I?
want to remain silent?
Okay, then I made a mistake. I'm not very used to using
technology, yes.
Technology, it's always a weakness of mine.
That's a belief.
Anyhow, Ramona.
You can change, by the way, yes?
Yeah. By the way, I find your whole explanation very, very good. And even though it's quite long, I am still having the patience of listening to you. But everything you say is so very authentic, and I know you're my dear daughter. You are such a wonderful, wonderful, human being, beautiful soul. And I'm so proud of you, okay?
Thank you.
And I've learned so much from you, Ramona, yeah? You guided me in lots of times when I was in how would I explain, going through different phases in my life.
Yeah.
Especially when I hit the 50s, when women, especially, through my own life experience, you guided me as a daughter, and I'm very thankful for that. But that's very personal now. But anyhow, I just wanted to let you know I love you so much, and you're wonderful. Yeah?
Thank you. You're wonderful too. Without you, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Thank you, Ramona.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to continue to listen to you, but the masculine side now, how to integrate it, or how would you say?
Integrate, make friends with it.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't reject it,
Exactly, and that's why one psychologist said to me one time in Germany, where I used to live, and as you know, and he said I wasn't in touch with my masculine side.
Yeah,
and he was trying to figure out why it wasn't, why I wasn't in touch with my masculine side, and he was trying to go back into my past if I had a very dominant father, yeah, and I did have a dominant father. But anyhow, I didn't stay long enough in that
therapy.
Therapy. So I didn't find out really where it came from,
Yeah.
But maybe my daughter, will be able to, explain that to me one day. Not now personally, but I'm listening to that integrating with the masculine side. So I'll be learning a lot from your next explanation.
Well, I've given most of the explanations, but thank you for sharing. That's, you know, one of the things which cause us to reject those aspects of us, is these negative experiences, like a controlling father, for example. So yeah, I think many can relate to that. And it's really about just knowing that I did it in order to, you know, that I thought it's discipline. That they, you know, of course we need all discipline to a certain extent, but being ruled by fear is not the way forward. You know, there's a difference between fear and respect, for example. And really just to understand that I did it out of fear, because control comes from the place of you are afraid that something is getting out of hand and you want to control it. You want to control your experience. You want to control other people because you're really doing it for their safety or for their good or for the greater good of whatever the situation is. So if you can see it from that perspective, that I did it out of the place of fear and care for you and concern, maybe that helps you integrate it.
Yes, I missed that in my life as a child, because my teacher was also, of course, masculine, and he was very abusive towards children. So I would think I'd need maybe some therapy towards that, you know, understanding maybe, I do understand it, but maybe going through the pain that I went through, you know, sometimes you have to go through the therapy, you know, do talking therapy to be able to get rid of it, you know.
Well, I don't think you have to, yeah, but I don't think you have to analyze these things to death. I mean, this is something you're aware of for a long time.
Yeah,
you know, it's not
exactly,
to speak about this. So what you also don't want to do is that you linger there, but that's a fine line. We need to bring it up and out when it comes up. But all you need to do is really like love that child that got abused. Love that, you know, child, Evelyn, as a, you know, when she's going to school, and give her so much love for all that she was through, of feeling disempowered, of feeling in pain, of not feeling listened to, of not feeling respected. And give your teacher a lot of love for not knowing any better. For, you know, it was normal during those days, you know, in Ireland to be, you know, and abused. So it was, you know, part of the structure of the systems. And so much has happened here in this country on that level, you know, and the sexual abuse and through the church. So this is a huge wound of the divine feminine. And it's about us to forgive. It's literally, you know, you can do this by just, you know, I would do it in meditation and talk from my higher self to that person higher self and forgive them. Use the Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I can do this on other people's behalf. And you can also, you know, talk to yourself as a child and talk to her and just give her loads of love and a hug and say to her, you know, I listen to you, I'm here to protect you, I'm here, you know, you are safe now, because we need to let that go.
Yes, Ramona. Yeah, and I have to really work on that one, Ramona. The forgiveness of this teacher. And anyhow, Ramona, thank you so much. And I'm going to I'm looking forward to hearing about, integrating the masculine side of us. Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, but that's what we have been talking about. So I do hope that has helped someone.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking.
So we went into we were in the feminine side, and then we're going into the masculine side. Is that right? Maybe I got it wrong. I
both. Yeah, I mean, we have also talked about the feminine, but that was a separate call. You can listen to that again, and we're doing the masculine now. But anyway, we're doing the activation now, and that will energetically take care of a lot of this.
So thank you so much, Ramona. Yeah.
You're so very welcome.
I love you.
Love you. Thanks for speaking.
Bye-bye. Okay. You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Okay. Now, let's do this. Let me just have 1 second. Okay. Now, if we want to, again, just get comfortable. Close our eyes. We open up the palms of our hands towards the ceiling so we can receive all the keys and codes transmitted. A lot of this works on a subconscious level, which is also what light language does for us. It surpasses the thinking mind, our logical mind, trying to grasp and understand everything. We again focus on our heart center, our golden, crystalline, diamond, platinum, silver plasma heart center, our crystalline heart rose, seeing it opening up, soft pink crystalline heart rose, seeing it opening up petal by petal. An Archangel Chamuel and Charity, who are in charge of the soft pink ray of divine love, help us purify and open up each petal of our 1,000-petaled heart rose, clearing out any density, any lower energies, any blocks from our heart center. Activating our God seed atom, which connects us to our monad, our higher levels. And the soft pink crystalline light is filling up the bubble of light that has been with us throughout this call, filling us up with more love, more unconditional, divine love that purifies all distortions, any densities in our fields, in ourselves, in our bodies, to the highest level allowed by cosmic law now. Ushana Yeaki Kiana sea ikana tu una sharatea ikina tara una sea ikina taratea ikana sea una tea ishina karatea yi kuyuna tea isina yi usuna yaki kiana sea usuna yina tea ishuna kea ikina taratu una sea ina saratu una tea. We now connect to our masculine essence within, the wounded masculine within us all that has suppressed their emotions, their intuition, their inner knowing. As we release with the support of our divine teams and all the beings of light that are assisting us in this healing and activation, to help us clear our wounded masculine aspects of controlling, aggressiveness, withdrawing emotionally, being distant, avoiding, being too competitive, abusive, and emotional unstable. We release all these old programs, imprints, templates, behaviors, all and everything that is not in alignment with our true divine essence, our original divine true human source blueprint, our albion bodies, our divine masculine essence. We release the need to control our realities. We release the need to protect ourselves through emotional withdrawal. We release the need to protect ourselves through aggressive behavior. We release the need to avoid situations or emotions arising because we know we are safe and we are protected and that it's safe to feel. It is safe to connect to our inner emotional wisdom, our emotional bodies, to our divine feminine within, bringing this into balance. Ishanayaki, Isunaya Karataratu, Uyana Kea Kia Kikina Karatu, Una Sharatea, Ikanasea, Ukunatara, Isanaye, Kuyana Taratu, Yashanateaki, Kunatarateaye, Usunaye Tiaki Anatanata, Usanaye Kiati. Ushuna na teati anana seati unana teatum enyana seati Usanayati Oshanayana Esunaye Edu Esanayaki Unanateatu Etunayaneasiyani Ananayati Usanayaki Kianakia Kukuratea Ushunaye Akia Karatarate Isunayaki Isunayinateaki Inasaratea Ushunayati Inas. We are safe. We are provided for. We are protected. There is no one else who is more than we are. We are not less than any other. We lose the need to compare ourselves to any other, as we know we are perfect just as we are. All that is called for is more love, more compassion, more forgiveness. As we love ourselves more and we accept ourselves as we are, we lose the need to compare ourselves to others. We embrace ourselves in our uniqueness, in our pure, true, divine expression. We know we don't need to take advantage of others, to suppress them, to try and control them or abuse them, as this is just a sign of our own inner wounded child that has been suppressed, that has been abused, that has been controlled. We forgive all and everyone that has harmed us, that has showed us or told us that it's not safe to feel, that it's not safe to love, that it's not safe to be who we are. We let all that go, back to source, back to purity, releasing all these cords and binds and programs and belief systems that don't serve us anymore. all that is not aligned with our soul, with our heart's yearning, as we deeply connect to our heart's wisdom. Isanayaki, Ikanasanatu Ushunakia, Kikinataratea, Isunayati, Inasaratu Unasaratea, Isinakiaki, Kianakaratu Unasara Ushunakia, Ikinatara Unakarate, Inasara Ukutaratea, Ihanaterateaki, Ushunayaki, Kinataratea. We release any need to suppress our feelings. We remember that if we are in touch and deal with all the emotions that are arising, that we are able to observe, transmute, and release any pain, any trauma, any unconscious thought patterns, belief systems that are not in alignment with our true divine essence. We release all this so that we may have a balanced emotional body, knowing that it's safe to feel, that it's safe to be us, that we are held in divine love no matter what we have done, what we have not done. We are always worthy of love as we forgive ourselves and we forgive all others that have ever harmed us, anyone that we have ever harmed, across all time and space, all incarnations, all realities. As we will come forth now, the divine masculine aspects and attributes of deep presence, non-judgment, being supportive, being disciplined. We are focused, we are logical, we are confident, we are protective, we are honest, we are accountable, we stand in our integrity, yet in humbleness. We have clear boundaries, and we offer stability and security. And we are responsible for our actions and non-actions, all we do, say, think, and feel. We know that the inner balance of our divine masculine and feminine is what enables the divine union and merge of our multidimensional aspects in this here and now. And as we do this for ourselves, we do this for all others. Every willing heart sharing in this now moment, outside of time, outside of space. Isanaya kiaki ikana shuuna nasea ikana tea usunaye ishuna kiaki nakaratara una saraya kiati ikana tu unata ikana shuunata anata ena saratu uyana kiaki isunatea ishinateati usunayena tarateati. As the divine masculine remembers, it is here to make the divine feminine safe and protected, to be emotional, to be receptive, to hold space, that it is safe. Divine masculine protecting the divine feminine, not rescuing, but the independable, and offering her security and stability within us, without us, within the collective. He lets go of his armor and his shields, all that has weighed him down, of any agreements and vows previously made, all and anything that's standing between the wounded masculine and the divine masculine. All released now, all that doesn't serve us anymore. Ushanaya ki ikana sarate ukanatea ishinaya inatarasu unatea kiaki isunaya taratea ushunaye isunaya kiaka utunayati inasarateati. Divine masculine, fall into the arms of the divine feminine that provides the space for the healing now, to let go of any pretense and control and protection that is trying to protect yourself from healing or accessing your divine feminine within, coming into full balance. All and anything removed now, any pretenses. Usunaya ishi na kara una kia ina sara ia kara tu una sara ia shi ia na kura teaki isunaya ki uya nea kia ikinatara usunayi ikunanea sia ikinatara. As we merge now our divine masculine and feminine energies within and without, our heart and mind, our right and left brain hemispheres, merging the heart within the mind and the mind within the heart. Usunaya ki ina sara una tea ikina shara tuya ia tia ina sara ia una tea ukana tara tea tia ikia. Una nastea ti ushana yetu. Una nastea ina tea usana yati. Enatea nasea nae. Enae. Isanaya kia akanatu una sharatea ikina sarayaki. As we can feel how our heart is healing from any past trauma, abuse, control, all and anything that has caused us to close our heart because we wanted to protect ourselves from more pain, more heartbreak. We wanted to protect ourselves from feeling more because it was overwhelming, because we didn't know how to handle our emotions. We know we are able to master our emotions in every moment as we drop deep into our hearts and into knowing that we are protected, safe, and provided for. And then that when we vibrate at a frequency of pure divine love, we become invincible. And nothing can take that inner love that we have cultivated for ourselves away from us, no matter what anyone does or says or doesn't do. We love ourselves so much that we're not afraid anymore to feel, to express our feelings, to accept love, to give love. As our heart heals to the next level of pure unconditional love. Ushanaye isunaye utunaye ki inasaraye Utunayaki. Hianasia una. Ushunate ina. Usunaye ikina taratu. Uyanaye. Usunaye nakiaki kinatarate. Uyanakea. Utunaye. Isunaye. It is safe to feel. It is safe to be you. It is safe to be authentic. Usunaye ishanate ikinata ukunate asanate aki. Hianakarata uuna ena uuna ea ina aana a uuna uunakea I ushunaya ti ina seyi inaka. Usukuna ukunate I ina sharatea I ina karatu unaye. And once more we connect to our crystalline heart rose. And we send this love and the keys and codes received to every human heart, to human heart grid, sharing these keys and codes with every willing heart, open now to receive. All hearts wide open, opening all hearts to ever greater levels of love, being loved, loving ourselves and receiving love. As we know and feel we are safe, safe to love, safe to receive love, and safe to give love to others. Ukana ina shara arate una ye ina sarate. As we now send that love down to the crystalline core of Gaia, Gaia's heart, sending it for all the grids, sacred sites, vortices, ascension gateways, stargates, crystal pyramids, crystals placed by Lightworker, crystal beds, waters and aquifers, all infused with pure unconditional love from the divine Mother, Father, God, pure balance of the divine masculine and feminine within, birth of the divine child, love, power, wisdom, the threefold flame, fully ignited, triple helix. Ushana e inaka unasara ye inasara e inakaratu. Ushuna ye ahi inakara unasa ye yaka ulara de I. Ikana ye inasha una aala. Uyana kiaki. Isana yaki inasaratu. Sharing this with every molecule of water, any particle of food, all living beings, all hearts, all and everything, the whole of the cosmos infused with this pure divine love now coming from source through our hearts, projected out into the whole collective, the whole omniverse, the whole cosmos. The pure divine flow of unconditional divine love. Usana ye, ikana shura aana ye, isuna ye isura. Uuna, Ekanaya ina sarate. Divine balance restored. Oyana hinasia ina karatea. Breathing back this love into our heart center, into our fields. Where this will now stay with us over the next 2 days, helping us to integrate all these keys and codes and healings and clearings and activations received with absolute ease and grace. Ukanayi ana sara una shananteaki. It is done, it is done, it is done. So it is. 21, 22 over here. I hope you enjoyed this, everyone. It's pretty dark now here where I am. I'm just quickly switching on the lights while everybody's coming back to themselves. And there was light. From the darkness to light. That's where we are. So I hope you enjoyed this. Haha, 22, 22. Monique says 222, what Chris says. Oh, that's awesome. We love that 222s. 22, 22 is a huge source activation. I hope you enjoyed that. Drink loads of water. You can also, earthing is really nice when you have, you know, your feet on the grass. You know, whether it's the beach, the grass, earth, just Gaia. Bare feet on Gaia, very, very good, especially when the energies are so intense. Just let it keep flowing through you. You know, look after yourself, have salt baths when the body's achy. There's been a lot of body aches and a lot of clearing of the lower chakras, the lower 3D, really clearing and purging. And it takes as long as it takes, but there will be more and more bliss, more and more ease, more and more joy, more and more abundance available. Surely, surely. I fully believe in that. It's an inner knowing now. It's not just a wanting to believe it. It's I just know this is the next step. We have done so much work. Now we are ready to receive the fruits of our labors. And this is for everyone. As we are activating the highest timelines for ourselves and really tuning into our own alignment, our own highest timelines, and our own truth, this becomes available for everyone. We're doing this for everyone, you know, for the human collective. Because we're all one, we're all learning from each other. Everybody's playing their roles, even the politicians or whoever else. Everybody's playing their role. So nobody's more or less. Everybody's just playing their role. Just because we think we know it all doesn't mean we are more or we actually know better. The more you know, the more you don't know. That's usually the way. And it's so true. And, you know, most of this is even beyond understanding. We try and explain it and put it into words, but a lot of this has to be felt to be understood. Because it's not in the mind, it's in the heart. You know, explain oneness and unity. Fine, you might understand it as an intellectual concept, but it can only be truly felt through the heart. So, you know, Monique says, Dear Mona, thank you for this profound clearing. I've cried a lot and feel free of a lot of burns. Oh, that's so beautiful. Tears are beautiful. Thank you for that feedback. It's always great. After the last clearing of the Divine Feminine, I straight away went into meditation afterwards. I just cried silent tears, which were also layered with bliss. It was all happening simultaneously. And this is what's actually happening at the moment. It's like all timelines releasing and new timelines coming online as the old is falling away. It's all happening at the same time. And I like to think of it of that's how the diamond is being made. You know, a lot of pressure from above and below. So we're being squeezed and it becomes so easier. I really find it becomes easier. Again, with practice, everything becomes easier. You know, the more often we do this, the easier it gets. And the more we release, the lighter we get. So it does get better. And sometimes we feel it gets worse, but it's just deeper. You know, we can't get this wrong. We will always be guided back through our soul, especially now, to where we're supposed to be. You know, sometimes we are being woken up along the time, along linear years, and we might go back to sleep again and again. But our soul will keep shaking us awake until we stay awake and do the work and do what we came here to do. You know, we always have free will, of course, but I always say, at least the healing journey, you know, you have a lookout to redemption. You know, there is an end in sight. There is, I don't get the word now, but you know, it is absolutely possible to get to a state of mastery, to master this stuff. Whatever comes to us, we are the eye of the storm, and that's where we're getting to. It doesn't mean we don't have any emotions. It doesn't mean we are perfect. Doesn't mean we always get everything right. It's constant refinement, purer and purer and purer the diamond gets. Okay, and then we support and help others to get to that place, or we can just show them, hey, this is what worked for me, maybe that works for you, or have a look around what might work for you, but this is really, really worth it, even though it looks like a lot of pain. In the end, the rewards are so amazing and so wonderful, and you know, having peace of mind, being in joy, being in love, not all of the time, but for the majority of the time. Again, many people would pay a lot of money for it, and you can't pay it, you can't buy it, you know. This is all in our work. We have to all work for it. We can't get around it. No piggybagging, no pretending, no faking it. False positivity doesn't lead us anywhere either. Of course, we want to be positive, we want to talk about what we want to create, but we also have to acknowledge when we don't feel good. So, you know, and don't hide it. Just be authentic, be you. So many people learn from when we can share authentically if we're not feeling well, actually, you know, instead of always just saying we're doing great. You can actually, just in our personal journey, we learn a lot more from the negative and hard experiences than from just joy. Again, that's one of the things we like to change, because it's definitely possible to learn through ease and joy and beautiful experiences. Perfect. I cried too. Haha. Yay. We're all cried together. I'm probably going to cry now. I cried for not just after the meditation last time, but the day after as well. But it's all good. Just keep calling forth. You know, any negative thought has also a polar opposite positive thought. If you catch yourself having a negative thought, say cancel, delete, replace it with the opposite polarity, polar opposite thought, the positive one. You know, from I don't have any money, I always have enough money. I don't love myself, I love myself. That's very, very generalized now, but just to give you the idea. Any thought has the polar opposite thought. Keep replacing it. Keep becoming conscious and aware. If you don't believe that beautiful relationships are possible, or believe that you can change, believe that you can live a happy and prosperous and abundant life, that's what we really have to work on, those deep-seated beliefs that run deep underneath the emotions and the thoughts, and that's based on belief systems. Okay, so keep digging deeper into the layers of what's going on, and it's becoming conscious now. Everybody's going through it, and this is actually one other thing I meant to say is that all this unconsciousness becoming conscious, you know, this really requires for everyone, especially in relationships, all God's on the table approach. We have to be authentic in what we think and feel. This is how we build intimacy and trust and beautiful relationships. We need to, you know, be totally honest, authentic, and transparent. And especially as telepathy is going to become the norm, we will not be able to hide anything. So, you know, we try and do this in an emotionally balanced way. Of course, that's what we're doing here. You know, getting the balance of suppressing it and being non-emotional to being over-emotional, to reaching that beautiful balance of, hey, I'm feeling my emotions, but I'm communicating them in a healthy way that is productive. That's what we're getting to. And this when I can create true intimacy, get to know myself truly, if I'm really honest with myself, and then I project it to others, because again, as telepathy is coming in, you know, we have to get to a place where we can be truthfully, authentically us, and then communicate this to others as well. No more pretending, no more masks. It's all coming off. The truth is coming out. The truth shall be revealed to all. This was the prophecy, and here it is. So whatever we can do to bring more authenticity and truth and disclosure to the table in our own private lives, the more it will be reflected out there. Krista just says, also when a negative thought, belief comes, you can say out loud, I now release all thoughts of negative thoughts that no longer serve the highest good. Indeed. Actually, just very quickly, it's one thing that I was sent by a dear friend, if I can find this quickly, because it was so beautiful. Because I meant to include this. Yeah, so that's a beautiful thing. I'm just going to read it quickly out. It helps us, as in just what Krista said, really, that we release all the stuff that no longer serves us. And this comes from channeling, and I can't remember. Oh yeah, Cryon. That's Cryon channeling, the power of compassion. We've told you this before. You don't have to say anything out loud. Just say it quietly to yourself. Yes, this is for me. I dropped the vows I came in with. The vows of celibacy, the vow of being alone, the vow of being a shaman and medicine man, relegated to the outskirts of the community, misunderstood and feared. I don't want to have this anymore. I wish to have abundance in my life. I want sustenance. I want the love of God as my constant companion. I don't want to worry anymore. I drop the vows here and now from those past lives. We hear you, shaman. We hear you, priest. It's time for a change. Why don't you go ahead and make a new vow? I vow in the name of Spirit to vibrate as high as possible, to draw closer to God and be in that place that has been identified as heaven. The energy that takes place as I draw closer to my higher self and discover my divinity. That's my vow. In the process, I'll be loved. In the process, I will not be alone. In the process, I'll have sustenance. We hear you, dear family. It gives me another tingly sensation like I had as I read this for the first time. I think it's very powerful, and that's a little bit where we've all been. And that's reflecting kind of what we were just talking about. So I leave you with that. I hope you enjoyed. I will post the replay. Thank you so much for being here now, doing the work, tuning in, supporting me, supporting each other, supporting yourself. Because we can't expect from others what we don't do for ourselves. So it all starts with us. And I love you all so, so much. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to unmute you so we can all say goodbye and love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Waves of love.
Bye.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Lots of love.
Love you guys. Have a beautiful day, evening, everything.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.